What's up, guys? Your boy Quick Stocks is back. As always, remember to hit those thumbs to recharge my dopamine, and we'll get right into the analysis of Chewy. Chewy, ticker symbol CHWY, trading for $33 a share as of April 6, 2020, with a market cap of $13 billion. Chewy's revenue for the last 12 months as of January 31st, 2020 was $4.8 billion, a 37% increase year over year. And Chewy had a whopping 50% of online pet and litter sales in the United States. But before we get into the numbers, it's important to note that one could expect a large increase in sales for at least the next few quarters. As we can see by checking Chewy's official site, they state, "Dear pet parents, Chewy is always here for you. Due to high demand, current delivery times are running considerably longer than usual on food supplies. Stay well and thanks for choosing us." So, one could conclude that the stay-at-home trend is bringing a strong increase in sales for Chewy. So, let's get right into it. To give a proper analysis of Chewy, one must understand the marketplace Chewy is in. So, obviously, Chewy is the go-to e-commerce pet supply company. As of December 2019, there were 90 million pet households in America, or a little less than 70% of the population's household had a pet. And Chewy had 12.7 million of them as customers, which is pretty impressive for a company that was only founded in 2011. So here's the deal. As of 2019, the total US pet market was valued at $95 billion. And as of 2019, the online pet food and pet supply sale in the US is worth around $8 billion. So you have to ask yourself, how can Chewy be valued at $13 billion when its total addressable market is only $8 billion? Which is still kind of misleading because Chewy isn't a profitable company yet. So just to make this clear, Chewy had to spend $5 billion to make $4.8 billion in profit as of 2019. But we're not going to take this into consideration, or else it's going to be really hard to give a bull case scenario for Chewy. And of course, let's be real, Chewy's never going to have a 100% market share of the pet e-commerce marketplace. There's a lot of big boy competitors, Amazon, and that are all looking for their cut of the online pet supplies market. But hypothetically, let's assume Chewy can continue its strong growth and it gains a 60 to 70% market share of the pet e-commerce market. That still only gives Chewy roughly a $5 billion e-commerce market share at current values. And let's be real, homie, even expecting Chewy to have a 70% market share of the e-commerce market is extremely optimistic, and I certainly don't think it would be realistic to expect Chewy to take more than 70% of the market. So the only argument that I can make for investing in Chewy at these levels is for a long-term play, expecting massive growth in the pet e-commerce market, which would certainly be a fair argument. I would not be surprised to see the online pet supply e-commerce sale increase at a very healthy 12% year over year for at least a decade to come. So what does that equate to? If the current e-commerce pet market share is $8 billion, 10 years from now, at a 12% increase yearly, that gives online pet e-commerce a total market cap of almost $25 billion. And let's assume Chewy can maintain a 70% share of this market. That gives Chewy a $17.5 billion market share. But honestly, it's hard for me to justify investing in a company that has a current market cap that I don't think can be met for another decade, even with strong growth in the company and a massive increase in the addressable market. However, when we look at Chewy's history, it paints a new optimistic view. Chewy is a culture. Chewy has seen on average a 40% increase year over year in net sales and a 32% increase in the number of active users and an 11% boost in net sales per active customer with a gross margin of 23%, up from 19% in the prior year. And not only is Chewy growing its customer base rapidly, it is shown that once someone becomes a customer, they remain customers for a long time. And the longer someone has been a Chewy customer, the more money they tend to spend on Chewy's website. And Chewy is developing an important new revenue source with the expansion of its pharmacy and other pet healthcare offerings. This paints a much more optimistic picture. It's possible with good marketing, the company could reach its current market cap value much faster than our projections expect. But it's also important to note that the company Petsmart has a majority stake in Chewy with 77% of its voting rights. And it's important to note that Petsmart continues to struggle. It may use its control over Chewy to subsidize the brick and mortar operations in a way that would disadvantage Chewy shareholders. And on top of that, many bears say that grocery stores and retailers like Walmart and Target are expanding their pet food and supplies aisle. So why wouldn't a customer just get their pet food and supplies where they already do the rest of their shopping? But honestly, I don't think that's going to affect Chewy too much. Like I said, Chewy is a culture all on its own. And on top of that, the convenience, and most importantly, the dopamine rush a customer gets when opening their Chewy box with their pets. I just don't think brick and mortar stores can compete with Chewy in this dimension. So what's my plan? I can't realistically justify opening a position in Chewy at these current levels. As much as I love the company, it just doesn't make sense for me to open a new position into a company that isn't profitable and has such high expectations. However, if you wanted to consider opening a small spec play in Chewy, I couldn't fault you for it. I think Chewy will put out some massive numbers in the years to come, especially if the stay-at-home trend continues, as people look for convenience and that sweet dopamine that I believe Chewy provides. However, I also wouldn't fault someone for shorting the company, which is exactly why I can't justify starting a new position. Anyways, guys, that's all I've got for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe, like the video. I appreciate it. Anyways, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.